So, Kit, it's time to talk about Jaws 3D.
Oh man.
And I
love
thought I'd do something fun for our patrons on Patreon or YouTube channel members.
What's
This segment for $2, you can watch this segment in 3D. Ooh, oh my God, isn't that cool? It's like it's coming at you.
I feel like I'm there.
Oh, wow. You can watch this in a headset. It'll feel like you're on the set. You can look around. It'll be like it's 3D.
Why play all those games where you can act like you're picking stuff up when you can just watch us?
Whoa. Whoa. So this was the only film directed by production designer Joe Alves, who did production design on a lot of big movies, including, I think, the first few Jaws movies. Let me see here. So I have a couple things I got from IMDb and whatnot, but I knew that this was true. So David Brown and Richard D. Zanuck, producers of the first two films, they originally, I don't know if you knew about this, they originally pitched Jaws 3 as a spoof based on the suggestion of Maddie Simmons and John Hughes, titled National Lampoon's Jaws 3 People Zero.
People Zero?
It was about a movie studio trying to make a second sequel to Jaws. It opened with author Peter Benchley being eaten in his pool by a shark.
That sounds so much better.
It included a naked Bo Derek and shark costume
Oh
aliens.
my God, even better.
Joe Dante from Gremlins was attached to direct. Steven Spielberg apparently did not like this idea and threatened to walk from his deal with Universal. And then the producers, they were like, well, he rejected it. We're quitting the studio. So yeah,
I would have loved that even more.
so yeah, they were shooting the 3D effects one way, and then they had to shoot it a different way, and there was like a huge time crunch. So that meant that it says here, 2/3 of the planned composite shots were cut from the movie because they just didn't have time to finish the effects. Many more were simplified to make them easier and quicker to complete via optical printing, and a handful of unfinished shots showing blank green screens were left in the film. And did you see a couple of those?
A couple of them on YouTube.
There's a big one when they're going through the tunnel, and it's just a blank green screen, and then you hear the people looking and pointing at the shark that's just not there.
I love that.
Holy shit!
I mean, like, they should have been able to buy time. That's how Steven Spielberg did it. And, like, he
Yeah.
just kept buying weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, I don't know how he did it, but they didn't even try. They were like, whatever you say.
And by the
I'm
way,
just happy to be here.
so this takes place at SeaWorld.
Yep.
A very exaggerated SeaWorld. Apparently it was shot at SeaWorld.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, why would SeaWorld agree to this? This seems like bad publicity for SeaWorld.
Well, you know what? I bet it probably promoted, like, their dolphin.
Yeah, and Shamu. Not the original Shamu, but a Shamu is
Yeah.
in it. Yeah, that's just a very odd, like, product placement.
Oh, yeah. I watched, like, I watched, film locations, and, like, most of it, a lot of it's still, like, there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Which was pretty neat to see.
Oh,
that's where that shitty Jaws movie was filmed.
so, by the way, a loaded cast. You have Dennis Quaid, young Dennis Quaid,
Yep.
who I think I sent you a fact said he was on cocaine throughout the entire film.
I was like, man, my man.
Very young Leah Thompson, who apparently lied about starring in smaller movies to get this part. Louis Gossett Jr. as Calvin, the head of the thing. And my man, Simon McCorkindale, the British adventure guy. And you know him, right?
Yeah,
From his hit show Manimal. Remember Manimal?
sure do.
I used to watch reruns of Manimal in the 90s. It was a short-lived show about like a detective who could turn into different animals, and Simon McCorkindale was the star. So every time I watch this now, I'm like, that's Manimal. I love
turn into
Manimal. This was the one I remember being like, I remember as a kid being like, this one's really bad. I'm starting to notice this is really, really bad. And again, with 3D, you know you're off to a good start with, first off, the text is coming at you. And then the fish gets eaten by the shark, and then the fish head is just like going
Yeah,
like...
and everything looked as real as the shark that you caught here. All right.
Yes, that very real shark. I killed that shark by myself. It wasn't even that hard.
That Kittner boy's in there.
Yeah, the fish head just, and like a lot of 3D movies were like this at the time. We've talked about Friday the 13th Part 3D,
Yep.
where they're like, oh, we're gonna have a scene where someone's picking up a pole. Ah, it's in your face. You ever see Amityville 3D?
No.
Amityville Horror 3D? Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
God,
lot
this
of
is-
weird 3D stuff in that. So, yeah, because every like few decades, 3D comes back as a trend.
Oh,
And
yeah.
The 80s, they came back for a bit. And I don't know if you ever noticed, but like when it cuts to that weird composite 3D, the screen just gets so dirty. There's like scratches everywhere.
It looks a little rugged.
However they did that process back then, it just, like, I remember Friday the 13th 3D. I'm like, this is a dirty looking movie because of this 3D, the way they're filming it.
Yeah, and I mean, it does. Obviously, it gets better and like as it goes on. But like I remember, just probably not even a decade ago when 3D TVs came out.
Yeah.
And everybody, I remember so many friends' parents like having.
I still
having
have one.
You
The
have one?
glasses don't work anymore.
Yeah, it's just the TV now.
Yeah. They actually weren't bad TVs, even if you didn't use 3D. They were good TVs.
Yeah.
So this time there's another shark. And this time he's chasing some skiers featuring young, hot Leah Thompson. He chases them into SeaWorld, almost breaks the gate going into SeaWorld. They're very worried about it. Yeah, and that's how they get into SeaWorld. And just wouldn't you know it, Mike Brody happens. By the way, this is in the future now. Mike Brody just happens to work at SeaWorld. You'd think after those two shark
Of
encounters.
course. You know why? Why? Then we have to get into it and like in 4 about it.
So yeah, he works there. He dates the girl who's in charge of the dolphins, Cindy and Sandy.
Of course, that's their names. Like,
And yeah, then we meet the Calvin, the guy who owns the whole SeaWorld thing. So what do you think of this whole premise here of Jaws inside a SeaWorld?
I mean, at least it's different. It's not
Yeah.
Amity. It's not Amity getting attacked again. You
Yeah.
know? And then the mayor just like, nah, dude, you're just seeing things. Like, not 3 times, not 3 barrels. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you'll never believe it. Oh, sorry. Go.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, you'll never believe it. Sean Brody comes to visit. He comes to visit SeaWorld. The Brody boys are back.
Oh man. Dude, wait, the way that he lands a chick is not even real. Like some standoff game where they push. Like,
Have you ever played standoff?
I don't understand how they're doing. What do you just stay still and you're
like,
not allowed to?
You like stand and just kind of, and whoever loses their balance, it makes no
Yeah,
sense.
well, the girl was clearly thirsty when he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, my fly's open." And she's like,
Also, he's very southern now because I guess after being attacked by sharks, you're like, I'm gonna go to Texas, but not near the ocean.
"Yeah, yeah." And it's like absolutely. And then he comes in, and then she also at the same time he's just as thirsty because he's just like, "Yeah, I'll get in the water." Fuck it, who cares?
It's Leah Thompson. Have you not seen Howard
Yeah,
the Duck and Back
I
to
probably,
the Future?
I would have
come
listened.
on.
I would have listened to her too. She can call me whatever she wants, Calvin. I don't care.
People are missing. Mike barely mentions the first 2 Jaws movies, and he mentions how he's gonna go work in Venezuela. And then Simon McCorkindale comes in as like this adventurer.
Yep.
Philip Fitzpatrick or something, or
Yeah, some like the guy comes off like such a
yeah, he's a
narcissist.
real
Like,
smug asshole.
Yeah, like, oh, let's go to the bar.
Yeah, I actually really
Okay.
like him. I'm just like he's no longer with us, Simon McCorkindale,
Oh.
but he was a really good actor. And he's real charming and real douchey in this at the same
That's
time.
so. As I was watching, who I was watching it with was like, wow, they really come off like super douchey. I bet you he's like probably a really good actor, and I just don't know where he's from. And I'm like, that's exactly what you just said.
Well, listen. If you can hunt down the 1 season of Manimal, I highly suggest you watch Manimal. And then remember that the show in the 90s, Nightman, actually had a Manimal crossover. They brought Simon McCorkindale back to be in an episode of Nightman.
You're gonna be making a lot of people do homework after this.
You know who else was in an episode of Nightman?
Who else?
President Donald Trump. He has a cameo in that show. When he announced he was leaving SAG, I was trying to think of all the things he's acted in, and I'm like, Home Alone 2, and I'm like, oh, and that episode of Nightmare. They go in the water, and they're chased by a shark.
Right.
And the dolphins save them from the shark. They're riding dolphins like jet skis away from the shark.
Like all they needed were these dolphins to have hands to high five each other at the end of it.
So they now have a plan.
Ridiculous.
They're like, there's a shark in SeaWorld, a great white shark. And Mike is clearly like, sharks are bad news. We're done. Simon McCorkindale, Philip's character, is like, what if we killed it on camera? Which, by the way, he's like,
it's SeaWorld. This is supposed to be for children.
Yeah.
Let's just shoot and kill.
Which, by the way, but it's weird that he's like, if we killed a shark, that would be because very famous. Like, sharks are killed all the time. They're hunted all the time. If anything, they're hunted too much. Like I don't know why it'd be like, hey, we killed a shark. It'd be like, okay.
And there's none in captivity. So what if we catch it?
So
and
the girl's like, apparently
ooh.
you can't keep a great white in captivity. They just don't take to it. So she's like, what if we capture it and put it in captivity? So they end up capturing, which, by the way, so we're made to believe that this shark was born in SeaWorld. But like, I saw people that are like, that shark is way too big to be like it's for like when it was born. Also, I think great whites have like multiple sharks they give birth to.
Yeah, well, I believe so. That's why.
Yeah. So it's weird that it just has one and it's like already almost grown. But yeah, they capture it. And there's a big celebration for this kid.
There is.
What did you think of the celebration for the look at our shark party?
The way that they like this thing is like a when they put it in the water.
Yeah.
And it's like dying before everyone's eyes. And I absolutely love it.
And you don't get it. People are dancing outside like, oh, SeaWorld's open. Oh my God, it's going to be awesome. And then she's like, wait, it's too early. And then the shark just like, wah.
Yeah. She's like, this beautiful creature. I'm like, that's a murderer.
Yeah.
And then like they bring it in, because it's dying, and then he was like, "Wow, it didn't need any narcotics or anything or whatever."
So
that was their way to set it up as this like super creature.
By the way, so she's in there. They find a dead body at that point because at the same time, the dead body of the muscle guy just shows up on the tour. This is not a good day at SeaWorld.
Well, yeah, while they're like walking in, and then like the crowd pushes this girl's face into it.
Which I don't know why the shark didn't eat him fully. I guess it just got bored. I
had
don't know.
to leave a message.
Yeah, it left a message. Which, by the way, so they're talking about this whole like, there's a mom shark out there. It's gonna go after us. And sure enough, the shark, because they're in the underwater restaurant, the shark waves. It's like, hi, I'm here.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wait. Because this is when they're all sitting like there's a great white that's like loose in there, and they're like, there it is.
Wow, how convenient. It's right there.
He's like, are you sure you don't have the tooth?
And now the shark wants revenge, not to be confused with another shark who wants revenge coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It attacks
that thing did.
It attacks the skiers during their skiing performance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
16 of them just stacked up.
Yeah. So I need to know about the tubes, which again, sometimes are composited and sometimes they're just green screen. So are the tubes really weak or is that shark really strong? Because I feel like a pressurized tube and whatnot would be really strong.
Oh, yeah, the thing looks like plexiglass.
It does.
Like, how like the hockey glass used to be. Like you could check somebody into it and it just shattered on the crowd.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that tube is not strong at all.
Like the water should have been able to break that.
Yeah. So now we have this whole thing where there's like people kidnapped, like trapped under there.
Yeah, which I have to comment on. They're trapped in this thing, right?
Yeah.
As Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like how were so inconsistent on like the sense of urgency versus let's talk about our future. Like they went on and they were like, we got to get them out of here. All right, we fixed it, we sodded it in, so they're cool. Like, or they're getting there, but the shark's heading right towards them. Yeah, but you know what? I really can't wait for us to move to Venezuela together. And then they start making out, and I'm just like, people are gonna fucking die. Like,
This is not the time for this.
and they're so inconsistent, and then I'm like, oh my god, they're getting out of it.
It's so stupid.
I didn't understand the part where I guess he had the rope. It was connected with a very terrible tie, I guess. And he's like kind of dragging himself, and I guess the shark isn't fast enough, or it doesn't know.
There was like a weird thing
or
there.
like it's not making noise because it's just dragging itself. And then the second it got loose, he's just like, you're done.
Yeah.
Like,
Then there's that plan to trap it in the tube.
yeah, that part. Yeah.
Yeah. And poor Simon McCorkindale, he doesn't make it. Mm-hmm. He has a grenade. He doesn't get to blow it up in time. He doesn't make it. And his friend is like, I couldn't understand a word his friend was saying.
The one that was yelling down.
Yeah, he's like, he's
like, no, he made it.
Oh my god!
He like made it seem he's like he's one day away from retirement. You know, like.
And then the shark is just sitting in place, and it's like, I'm gonna break out of this now. It's like, wow, it's a really strong shark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean, I only had that one little rod. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so this has cracked me up since I was a kid. When they're all in the bridge of the Enterprise, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that room is. They're all in there, and they're just oh, I forgot to mention, sorry. When they go initially down there before the one shark chase, the submarine is one of the worst effects I've ever seen.
Oh god.
Until we get to this scene. The shark slowly is coming toward the window. And by the way, sometimes they'll show the shark like kind of wiggling, but it's just...
It was a still picture that you got from Google.
It looked like a still picture that you just like enlarge. And
yeah.
It's like, and it's moving. And then...
It looks like it's like smiling at you, and it doesn't move.
Sense. So it hits the window, but then it completely... So it shatters, all the water comes in, but the shark is staying still. The shark is not going in with the water.
It just stayed there, and then they had like that like, oh my god, like a Windows Movie Maker glass effect, you know, coming at you, and you're like, whoa.
So yeah, it's the dumbest thing. It eats a guy that's in there. But it is kind of cool how they kill it. For some reason, Simon McCorkindale's arm wasn't digested, and he's still holding on to the grenade. So they hook the key off the grenade. That explosion's cool.
That actually was. It was the best looking one.
Yeah, and I love the movie. Literally, its jaws fly at the screen.
Right.
And apparently, like some of the
that part was terrible.
Apparently, like some of the guts that they used was just like a melted ET doll. They were saying there was like a melted ET doll to look like guts. I don't know. That's what I read. I don't know if it's true.
A melted ET. Love it.
They escape out of there, and you think everything's all fun and stuff. But wait, what about the dolphins? I thought every time I watch this, I keep thinking like there's a scene where the dolphins fight the shark, but that doesn't exist.
Wait, no. There's more than just them being drug out by them, isn't there? Like they had two different scenes, heroic scenes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, yeah, right at the end.
But for some reason, I think I'm remembering the Flipper movie from the 90s where a bunch of dolphins fight a shark. But whenever I go to rewatch, it's like, oh, there's a scene where the sharks fight, the dolphins fight the shark. But that's like not in this, right?
No, and also I feel like we're just thinking of like Echo. like that's what we played. It was Echo.
But holy shit. When the dolphins survive, that last shot where the dolphins come and they're just mirrored,
dude. It's just that the as great of the celebration they had was just way too much.
Yeah,
like I'm like, dude, people died.
People just died.
They like right then, like there wasn't like oh man, what a ride, right?
Oh my god, that shark died. Oh my god, all these people died. Anyway, the dolphins are okay.
It looks like we don't have to close SeaWorld at all. You know, these people aren't going to sue us.
SeaWorld is closed forever.
Yeah.
It's like in the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. They're like, yeah, Jurassic World closed. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, absolutely. They weren't just going to fix we just fixed the problems.
But yeah, the movie's stupid. It's kind of fun with how dumb it is. There's a lot happening in it. I'll give it that.
The ways that they even came, the ways that they came out to go and look for the shark out
Yeah.
on the water, they're taking this like concert stage looking thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, that thing's not gonna keep them.
Yeah. I don't know. So overall, what do you feel about this one?
It was exactly how you said when I asked if you watched it before me. It was so bad that it was just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different enough from the first two where something else is happening. It's ridiculous. The effects are kind of garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's so much of that obnoxious pointing at the camera. So, oh my God, I'm losing balance of my water bottle, kid. I hope it doesn't go toward the
Screen.
camera. Oh! Can you believe that? That was coming right for them.
I love it. I mean, yeah, it's so like, I don't know, what you would call it, campy or something like that.
Yeah, it's very hokey. It's definitely a product of its time. You can tell they're running out of ideas.
They threw it in just for the 3D effect.
I've never
being
actually
part.
watched it in 3D.
Neither did I. I mean,
Yeah.
I really wish I had those like what blue and red glasses.
Yeah, and that's why actually because it says Jaws 3, I think, like a lot of releases. When I was a kid, I didn't know it was 3D. So when I watched it on TV, I'm like, what is with these weird effects constantly coming at them? Like,
those
what
are really
is
bad
this?
graphics of a.
I'm like, yeah, these graphics are like really bad. What's going on here? Why are they lingering? I'm like, oh, because you're supposed to be in a theater and be like, oh, the shark's coming for me. Yeah. So that is it for Jaws 3D. And I hope you patrons and YouTube channel members love this 3D segment of us talking. It's so cool. You also get a lot of other stuff at the $2 tier, not just this joke video.
Ooh.
You get bonus videos, exclusive vlogs, and content. There's so much stuff. At only $2 a month, kid.
Only $2. That's it. That's
Only $2. Only $2. For the price of getting hit with a weed whacker in a wrestling ring, you can afford. Why did you bring a weed whacker into a wrestling ring?
Well, I needed to cut it. I needed to hit him in the nuts with it.
I feel like that's cheating, but that's just me.
Not at XPW.
And that's the end of the 3D segment